able to hear us. And we would like to thank you for coming, all of you, for joining us today to be part of this event. This is the end of cohort event, as we term it, and it represents the end of the second cohort for the Global Green Growth Institute's incubator and accelerator programs. We're very delighted to have every one of you with us this morning. But to begin our proceedings, we would like to have a word of prayer. So if you could join me in standing to do that. Almighty God, we thank you for this opportunity that you have given to us today to be here as part of this event. We commit every activity into your hands. We are thanking you for your direction. We are thanking you for your leading. We ask for your blessings upon these proceedings. And we ask also that, God, you'll continue to guide our organization, DEXIA, as we continue to provide leadership to our many clients and stakeholders. Lord, we just want to thank you for blessing what we're going to do here today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you. You may have your seats. So I'm very delighted to be part of this event. And it is in recognition of the hard work that a lot of our clients and client companies have done over the last years. We started off in 2019 was it, I think? 2019, 18, 2018? 2021, I'm going back too far, sorry. But we had a first cohort, and then we had some beneficiaries who were very successful. And then this time around, we have a couple of them who have done very well. And so we want to recognize them. We also want to recognize the work that this GGI program has done for us in these parts, and just to build some awareness as well of where we're going with this program. And there is, like I said, there's a third cohort that's coming on or has already started, and we want to build some more awareness towards that event and to this program. So today we have a few persons who are going to be sharing with us. We want to recognize in our midst the presence of the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy. That is Mrs. Barbara Daly. We want to recognize her presence with us. We also want to recognize the presence of the chairperson of DEXIA's Board of Directors, Miss Hannah Clarendon. And also I saw Mr. Marie there. Mr. Marie is the Deputy Director of the Board of Directors at DEXIA. We also have with us some of our colleagues from the other organizations supporting business organizations, business support organizations like Small Business Unit. We have Michael Walter with us. We also have Dr. Lambert, who is going to be, you'll be hearing from him later on as one of our coaches in this program. And we have quite a few persons. Our general manager is also here with us. I'm Miss Paula Platsko, and some of DEXIA's management team and staff members. Our ambassador from Dominica's ambassador, cultural ambassador, that is. That's Mr. Wayne Benjamin. He's here with us. We want to welcome all of you. And we're very delighted that you could all join us, and some of the beneficiaries as well. So today, it's a great day. For me, I'm very delighted and very happy to be part of this event. And to give us some welcome remarks, I'd like to call on our General Manager, Ms. Paula Platsko, to do this.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy, Mrs. Barbara Daly, Ms. Hannah Clarendon, Chairperson of DEXIA's Board of Directors, and other board members. Ms. Laura John, Coordinator of GGGI Program, coaches, mentors, beneficiaries, supporting and collaborating agencies, members of the media, public listening via Zoom and Facebook, good morning. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to Dominica's end of program event for cohorts 1 and 2 under the Global Green Growth Institute Entrepreneurship Initiative. GGGI is a treaty-based international intergovernmental organization dedicated to supporting and promoting strong, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth in developing and emerging countries. In November 2021, GGGI partnered with the Dominica Export-Import Agency, DEXIA, a business support organization who led in-country support to the existing GGGI, OECS, and Youth Climate Lab team in the delivery of tasks under the Eastern Caribbean Green Entrepreneurship Initiative. DEXIA's main objective was to facilitate and provide technical support, communications, institutional support to raise awareness of GGGI's initiative, identify and mobilize coaches, mentors, subject matter experts, and potential program applicants, in addition to organizing and hosting networking events. DEXIA worked closely with the GGGI team under the leadership and guidance of the Caribbean Program Officer to ensure that the outputs were delivered in accordance with the key performance indicators. GGGI initiative is very relevant and a timely intervention in Dominica, as Dominica's policies, namely the National Resilience Development Strategy and the Climate Resilience and Recovery Plan, are geared towards achieving poverty reduction, food security, social development, improving the conditions of women and youth, whilst promoting sustained, inclusive, and sustainable growth. Currently, part of the agency's work program includes creating an enabling environment where SMEs and MSMEs can thrive and develop themselves into a sustainable enterprise. DEXIA also provides technical and, in some cases, financial assistance to our clients. The government of Dominica, through its policies, will promote development-oriented policies that support productive activities, decent job creation, entrepreneurship, creativity, and innovation, and encourage the formalization and growth of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, including access to financial services. The Ministry of Trade, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy, and DEXIA is proud of Dominica's achievements thus far with the program and look forward to many Dominican MSMEs benefiting in Cohort 3. Once again, I welcome you to this event.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Platsko, for those welcome remarks. We again encouraging participation of so many more business places and business entities in this event, as we recognize the importance of it for small businesses in going forward. And you'll hear a lot more about this as we present from. We hear the presentation from the Global Growth Institute itself later on. We want to also welcome here the Permanent Secretary to give us some remarks at this time. Let's make a welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I begin, let me just apologize on behalf of the Honorable Minister, who is in Jamaica attending the meeting of CARICOM ministers until Friday. Let me recognize the chair of DEXIA, Ms. Clarendon, and other board members present, the general manager, Ms. Paula Plasko, and staff, GGI coordinator, Ms. Laura John, cultural ambassador, Mr. Wayne Benjamin, awardees. I see Dr. Lambert, a very good friend of mine, who I understand was a coach for this session. Ladies and gentlemen, and I always never want to leave out the technical people, because if they mess up, they get a lot of blows. So Linden and staff, good morning. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy, through the Dominica Export-Import Agency, DEXIA, is pleased to have been the local business support organization working in collaboration with the Global Green Growth Institute, GGGI, to implement this Greenpreneurs Incubator and Accelerator program for small, medium-sized businesses for the last 2 years. The government of the Commonwealth all of our collective responsibility to develop Dominica by promoting and supporting our SMEs. Over the past years, the Ministry of Trade through DEXIA has provided both technical and financial support to well over 100 SMEs. We are proud of their achievements. The government of Dominica through DEXIA will continue to partner with organizations like GGI to improve and enhance the product and performance of our SMEs in the local, regional, and global marketplace. On behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy, I applaud the beneficiaries, Ms. Thomas of Frying Pan Productions and Atherley George of Twin Productions. I hope I got that right. From Cohort 1 in 2022, and Ms. Lana Athanas and Eclat Nova Luxuries, and Mr. Kyle James of KG Nutrition from Cohort 2. Both Ms. Thomas and Ms. Athanas were successful in receiving the US $10,000 grant seed funding. Congratulations. We at DEXIA, we look forward to future success stories, and we wish you well. We will continue our role in helping all local entrepreneurs to launch and remain successful in business. Thank you.
Thank you very much, PS Daly. And definitely at DEXIA, we want to see our businesses succeed. We want to see our entrepreneurs succeed. And that's the whole purpose of us doing what we do, especially in the export promotion department where I work. We want to ensure that our clients can make the best or take the best opportunities and actually move their businesses forward. And that's one of the reasons why we support this GGGI effort, because we think that whatever they're doing is towards that effort in terms of getting our businesses, the clients themselves, the managers themselves to improve and to build their own capacity, but also to improve the product that they have on the markets. And we are seeing that happening, and we're very pleased with the efforts so far. We are going to be joined at this time by one of our beneficiaries. Okay, we'll just make a switch to someone who is in the house, in the room. Sorry. We will take on one of the beneficiaries from Cohort 2, and this lady who is with us this morning I applaud her greatly. I mean, I am really impressed with what she has done with her business, with herself, and the effort that I'm seeing, the passion that I'm seeing that she's putting into the business is really tremendous. And I was saying to my colleague that, you know, I'm proud of what, in fact, I put it in our chat, in the chat that we had, that I'm very proud of Miss Lana Athanas, and I'd like you to welcome her as she comes to present to us this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Protocol has already been established. I am Lana Athanas. I am Lana Athanas, founder and CEO of ICLA Nova Luxuries, a sustainable brand and award-winning recipient of UN Women Caribbean. We specialize in botanical skincare and eco-living products. Our brand's journey of development has continued from its official launch in October 2019, pivoted through the COVID-19 pandemic, and has successfully optimized on grants and awards for its development. I was informed by an acquaintance of GGGI's Eastern Caribbean Green Entrepreneurship Incubator Program. Although my interest instantly piqued, to my disappointment, due to other existing professional constraints, we were unable to apply at that time, but remained optimistic that another opportunity would resurface, and one did at a later date in 2022. The application seemed somewhat daunting. However, I felt confident that we had given a solid representation of our brand and had earned the right to be chosen for the opportunity to become a greenpreneur, a highly coveted title. One can only imagine our elation when we were notified that ICLA Nova Luxuries had made it on this green list. Through a robust selection process, we had been among those chosen from the 93 applicants of the 6 OECS countries for the opportunity to become a greener business by improving our sustainability, increasing our growth potential, and the chance to compete for seed funding of USD $10,000 for our business. The incubator program surpassed our expectations. Over the past 2 years, I had graduated from several regional entrepreneurial programs and thought that I could pretty much tell what to expect, but I was wrong. From the orientation and the program guide, which was shared with us, I could tell that this journey would prove to be one like no other. Through the Lean Startup methodology, the program is specially tailored to assist early-stage businesses with environmentally and socially sustainable business models to grow and scale their enterprises. The content, layout, and execution of the modules over the 12-week period of the program provided virtual training, in-person coaching, and mentorship, which was ingenious. Not only was a qualified expert provided for each class, we were also given a myriad of source material and living examples of real Caribbean entrepreneurs like us who were making headways and to whom we could relate. Through the online dashboard, our assignments were tracked and graded. A team had been curated to lend support to each business, and we were assigned a coach and a mentor. This support confirmed that GGGI really understood what was required for a business's success. Navigating through the various modules and completing the required assignments, which were many, we further understood the importance of sustainability, why, as a brand, a minimal carbon footprint mattered, and the social impact our businesses' decisions and operations could have on our economies, the world's ecosystems, and certain demographics. The various modules and supporting resources were dissected in a manner that enabled one to assess the viability of his or her enterprise. This made it possible to be to determine which markets were being catered to and to clarify one's business model. Never had we imagined that such simple-looking diagrams could be so impactful and capable of portraying one's brand story and its direction. We are delighted to inform you that we successfully completed the entire program, and among the many assignments, because there were many, obtained an overall grade of excellence. Thank you. Additionally, we participated in the business plan competition of the program, where we competed with the other participants from the OECS and Dominica through various required submissions of our business, and was also successful to be among the 11 qualifying businesses for this grant award of USD $10,000 from GGGI. It will be allocated towards scaling our brand and improving our sustainability. I can say that without a doubt, this incubator program has been one of the most impactful and transformative programs thus far on our entrepreneurial journey. It has given me and my team the requisite knowledge, training, and confidence to proudly persevere. We have a renewed outlook of our brand and what is required to increase its profitability. As a business, our purpose has been reinforced to continue to create and lead positive changes in our economy. On behalf of myself and our team at Eclanova Luxuries, we extend sincere thanks to GGGI. Janice Henderson, the Incubator Programs Director, Carter Fund for Development, DEXIA, the Business Support Organization for Dominica, which has readily provided consistent, invaluable support. Dr. Ian Lambert, our great and wonderful coach. And Ms. Refika Atwood, our amazing mentor. We feel proud to call ourselves Greenpreneurs and value our graduation from such a prestigious program. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. We thank Ms. Athanas for this wonderful presentation, and we feel proud and we're really happy that we're part of this happening today. I heard you mention Dr. Lambert, and obviously Dr. Lambert is going to come at this time to just give us a few remarks on what his journey has been with that program. So we'd like to welcome Dr. Lambert at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mrs. Barbara Daly, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy, Ms. Hannah Clarendon, Chair, DEXIA Board, and Mr. Murray, member of the board, Spola Plasko, GM of DEXIA, and other members of DEXIA community, or family, I should say, which is equally Ms. Laura John, coordinator of the GGGI program, cultural ambassador, Mr. Wayne Benjamin, successful participants, other persons here, and including the media. Thank you. Let me start with a few words. What I call my GGGI journey, and I'll be pretty brief. I became involved in the program. It started with an email from Mr. Lloyd Pascal inviting me to come on board as a coach/mentor for one of more participants who would have been selected for the program. I immediately agreed without knowing the details of what was expected of me or what I was getting into. Subsequently, I received a full program schedule from the GGI leadership and began to question what I had innocently agreed to. When I looked at the program started with an orientation program in which I was involved, sometime in November, December, with a cohort I realized of 21 teams from the region. As Ms. Athanas had said, and Mr. Lloyd, it was a 12-week program with weekly webinars being one of the key components, and also weekly assignments tied to each module. As a coach, one of my core functions was to review the assignments submitted by the participant to who was assigned to me, and to provide feedback to the team through the virtual platform. I was quietly hoping that the participant who would have been assigned to me would have been Mr. Kyle James, because my background is basically food processing, and his project fitted squarely into what I technically knew about. You know, he was into non-gluten flours produced in Dominica, etc. So I said, great, been there before, this is going to be a cakewalk. However, I was assigned to Ms. Athanas. Said, great, let's see what she does. Eclat Nova Luxuries, when I looked through it and said, okay, she into soaps, I could deal with that, cosmetics, etc., and other organically based products, healthcare, wellness products. I said, okay, I have my work cut out for me. Okay, now, I started off quite well, but I must say that the weekly exercise of going to have to read and read up on some of the topics really took some out of me, you know, but in the process, I learned quite a lot. In fact, I particularly enjoyed going through the modules with regard to design thinking, you know, communicating vision, and looking at what is known as a minimum viability product, market share revenue, impact modeling, theory of change, what have you. I had to go up and actually read up on some of these, because when Ms. Athanas called me and started asking me questions, I knew I had to provide sensible answers. So that is why I said it was enjoyable, and I really learned a lot myself throughout the process as to what I would call the new approach with regard to organizing, structuring, and implementing a business plan. Okay, but it wasn't that difficult at the end of the day, because based on my background, all I basically did, okay, for each of the topics I had to go through, okay, look at the questions that were being asked, because they were pasted on the modules, then go through the logical thought process, and of course, go to Google University, where I had some questions, other questions to ask, you know. And then whenever I had to meet with Ms. Athanas, you know, generally via Zoom or the telephone, we really had, and via emails, we really had some great communication. Really, really great communication. And I realized this was a young lady, I didn't know her in person, who was serious about what she wanted to do, and she spent a tremendous amount of time going through her modules and making sure she had everything structured the way it should be. And I must applaud her for that. You know, I really must applaud her for that. Okay, there was a Zoom for the program on Thursday with regard to the beneficiaries of it and the award ceremony, but I was actually traveling at the time, so I was not able to be there. You know, and on Saturday, I was told by the GM, do you know Lana won? I said, no, I didn't know, but I was extremely happy to hear that. So Lana, again, congratulations, and I really enjoyed working with you. I saw you on the Camel in Dubai, enjoying some of the hard work that you put out. And all the best going forward into the future. You have set your goals, and I am certain that you will be successful with whatever challenges that you take on in the future. Again, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lambert. And you heard it from himself, you heard it from him, the efforts that were put into this. And that's what I appreciate a whole lot, that the passion, like I said earlier, that people have shown in this whole endeavor. And we are very, very happy for this. We have with us today Cultural Ambassador, Mr. Wayne Benji, better known as Benji. And so he's going to come at this time to give us a presentation in song, just to add a little spice to what we're doing here. We need to hear from the icons that we have among us. And so he's going to tell us a little more about what he's going to do today. All right, welcome.
Thanks. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. PS, Mrs. Barbara Daly, and everybody at DEXIA, and all the beneficiaries. Yesterday, I was quite elated when I received a call from the manager telling me that she wanted me to perform here this morning, and I knew straight off that she got that instruction from the PS. So I could not say no. But nonetheless, I'm here to do a number for you that most of you all know, which is Still Standing. And I believe Dominica have gone through so much in the past. And, you know, we are resilient people, and we continue to remain strong. And, of course, I see the good work that DEXIA is doing. And, of course, DEXIA is standing and pushing forward. So, Still Standing. So if you could stand with me, please, too. You know, just a little mood in here. Yeah. Mr. Benji, alongside Tavi. Oh, so we can just move a little bit. You know? Yeah, man. Let's go. You love your triple. Yeah, man. I see my friend feeling out here. And it's the chili. Warm up. Yeah, man. Yeah. And the lyrics on the song goes like this. One Jaja we way, all bad things we this way. Success is we praise, cause we blessed by the Almighty. No matter the storm, Jaja will find a way. Shine the sun brightly to guide us every day. I got options. Cause DA on the top one. I never ever wanna see you fall down. I'm gonna give you all my ways. Yeah. From the bottom to the top of the sky, we will rise, yeah. Like a phoenix from the ash we will shine. We will rise, realize, we survive. Whoa, realize, yeah, we still rise, yeah. We gotta make the whole world know we're still standing. DEXIA, yeah, we still standing. Nothing can hold us down, right? Still standing. Like a cock at 4 o'clock. Solid up on the rock. Above all the top. You can never kill my sound. Yeah.
What Jaja's put together.
Can't kill my sound. And we'll not forget Maria, right? Saw the evil in the eye when I took a look at you, but I never recover from the badness that you spew. You lash, we try break, we and take all we money, but we keep on winning, cause we are not afraid. I got options. DA, you're the top one. Never ever wanna see you fall down. I'm gonna give you all my rise. Yeah. From the bottom to the top of the sky. Like a phoenix from the ash we will shine. We will rise, realize, we'll survive. Whoa, realize, yeah, we're still right here. We gonna make the whole world know we're still standing. That's right, thank you. And figure, what, we're still standing. just before I leave, I hope Mr. Chair can sing for us too, because I remember Mr. Chair being a great singer with end-time singers. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benji, the man himself. And we truly, I mean, we are still standing, right? So we have what it takes to keep standing. We have what it takes to continue. So I trust that we'll continue that. Thanks again for your presentation. Let's put hands together for him. All right, so as we continue with our program, we have a couple persons who would, I hope we're ready to join from Naja. She's on, yeah. Okay. We have also in the room with us today one of the participants from Cohort 1, an athlete George. He is from Twin Islet Productions. He makes the cocoa sticks, and I think Dr. Lambert has also worked with him, not during the GGI program, but also worked with him somewhat. Yeah, and he was part of Cohort 1, as I said, and we would like to hear from him just of his experience, briefly, as he can tell us how it was for him during that period. So, Mr. Judge, welcome. Let's welcome him as he comes. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Firstly, I want to thank DEXIA for recognizing and allowing me to speak. I must say Cohort 1 was, I would say, an injection of enforcement motivation. Because as an entrepreneur, sometimes, especially in what they call the undeveloped world, sometimes you're still looking for that okay from somewhere. You're still looking for that reassurance that you can go ahead, or what you're doing, that's a good idea, you know. And the trainings that you go through is more or less centered around helping you do that for yourself, in a sense. For one of the first things that we had to do was to create a self-contract, a contract you make with yourself to help you commit to your goals and achieve them on a daily basis. So every day you have the self-contract is kind of, you can do it for as long as you like, and it can be extended to your workers, your co-workers, your peers. But it was first started with you to make a commitment towards achieving your goals. And as long as you can be honest with yourself, this can go a very long way. You know, day-to-day activities, your plans that you have made for tomorrow, accomplishing them, holding yourself accountable to get them done. And that's one of the main things I kind of took away from there, because sometimes everybody needs a little extra push, a little motivation. And if you can do it for yourself, then you have nothing to worry about. You just continue going. One of the other things I truly appreciate was the networking, because it gave me the opportunity to meet some of our heads here, especially from DEXIA. You met people like from NDFD. One of my mentors was Mr. Steve John from the Bureau of Standards. This was monumental to me. And meeting this this gentleman over there, just through networking with other people, they mention you to other people, they refer you to other people for certain kinds of information that you're seeking. And I'm proud to say that right now, after all this, though when I sent in, what the project I sent in was to use the waste from the cocoa industry, which is the husk, where the cacao seed come out from, to use that husk to make a plastic film or packaging material. That was what my project was. But after a couple months, couple weeks of going through orientation, that it helped me to realize that this is a brilliant idea. But because I was looking at my business to create a circular economy for my business, and I was already thinking of harnessing waste. But at the time, the training allowed you to see what is needed the most attention right now. And that's what it did for me. So right now I have moved to almost a year now doing chocolate bars, and coming up with recipes that can be patented, because here in Dominica we have a lot of ingredients that has not been introduced to the world on a wide range of things. So one of the reasons I was late is because I'm really pushing to try and get the project out, modesty chocolate. My cocoa sticks are instant. My put have a cocoa powder as well. But you don't want to jump out there and push that forward and you're not ready to. You don't have a foundation to back it up. But just a matter of a heads up of where my project is. That's where we are. Present, I have one of my commercial equipments on the port, so it's just a matter of funding and continuing. But a lot of my present strides was through Kim. It wasn't Kim. You have the ideas, but to harness it and put them into perspective as to prioritize them was really came from that contingency of heads sitting and discussing, helping you discuss your project and see how to put it into perspective. So that's one of the main things I think I got out of there. And a lot of the other entrepreneurs, you can see from that after that experience that they did grow. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to share and to represent Dominica to a certain degree, you know. Yeah, so thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. George. Thank you for sharing from your heart. I recognize that he's sharing from his heart. And yeah, just flowing, yeah. And we are very delightful that he too is showing some passion in delivering and developing his business. And we are working with him. We are hoping that we can continue to do that and have the process of trying to help you move forward as you so desire. All right? Great. So you're hearing from the participants, and we have one more person, I think, to join us virtually. A lady, Naja Thomas. She's on at this time, and I'd like to welcome her to present. She was the winner of the 10,000 grant in the first cohort, and the name of her business is Frying Pan Productions. It's a unique name. When I saw it, I was like, wow. Frying Pan Productions. And she has a product, Draw Teas. I don't know if any of you have seen it in the stores. And Maki, all of these people, their products are available in almost all of the supermarkets in Dominica, and some of them are outside of Dominica as well. And so Naja is going to tell us about her own story. And she couldn't be with us today in person. She really wanted to be, but I'm not privileged to tell you why she's not. But she's here. She's going to be joining us. And so we'd like to welcome Naja. Let's put our hands together for Naja as she speaks to us now.
And good morning. Thank you guys for having me. Again, I'm sorry for not being able to be here in person, but I'm happy to talk about this really amazing program. So I'm the CEO and founder of Frying Pan Productions. And what we do, we want to provide ethically and sustained farmed plants, produce, and manufactured products for everyday use that are free of harmful chemicals and do not cause harm to those using or consuming it. This idea came to me after my mom had a battle with cancer and she lost. And I think for me, it really drove me to, produce local products that we know how they're farmed and what ingredients are being included in the manufacturing of them. So our first product line is called Draw Teas, and Draw is a line of instant ginger teas. And here's how the Greenpreneur project has helped Draw. So first of all, as a company, I felt like the program gave us a business course, right? It was like a business lesson that taught us the fundamentals. And to me, it was equivalent to taking a much needed university business course that we did not have to pay for. Then we had mentors who helped with solving the specific needs of my business. This I thought was particularly useful and brilliant, as in the region, we have unique challenges that affect each business. And often the general business advice that can be found online does not always apply to the Caribbean region. My mentor understood the unique challenges that my business experienced and offered tailored advice for these specific issues. Again, I cannot state enough how this was tremendously helpful, and this access to the coach turned out to be. There was also comfort in community. hearing from other businesses about the successes and challenges that they were experiencing in the region really helped us to keep going. At least I didn't feel alone in the entrepreneur struggle. And we solved these issues together. You know, in class discussions, you heard what other businesses were doing, and that information really, it's valuable. You cannot pay for that. And so, for instance, there's also few opportunities outside cooperations or groups and loans where you can find access to funding. This is crucial. A lot of the time, the survival of a business doesn't just depend on how viable the idea is, but on the access to funding that this individual has. So, and many businesses would like to adopt green climate friendly practices, but the infrastructure we know is expensive. So the financial help in terms of the grant and for those who got the interest-free loans really helped to keep our businesses alive. For me, I can say the grant in a short time helped to plug some holes, and it helped us to increase our productivity. And as someone who is working in the rural areas in Dominica, this is how this is important. I could give my workers more hours. I could hire more people. And to me, I think if my business is viable, it shows me what I can do in my community. And it also helped me to purchase equipment to help automate my system. And GGGI, the support didn't just stop there. So for instance, they reached out to me to help with getting me ready to turn my business operations into, to implement solar, which will be more climate friendly. So the experience was transformational, and the benefits I cannot express how valuable they were. So I am forever grateful for this experience, and I hope it's one that continues and that other businesses can benefit from. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Nadia, for your presentation. Thank you. We do appreciate you taking the time out to be part of the event today. And we, again, want to congratulate you, and we look forward to continuing the process with you, DEXIA, continuing to work with you to move your business forward. Okay, we were supposed to have had another presenter, Kyle James, but he's not with us today. He had some other engagement that he couldn't avoid. So, but we still want to recognize the efforts of Kyle James, as Dr. Lambert mentioned. He has a product or products. And he does a bit of dried fruits, I think it is. Dried fruits and also flowers. Yeah, the flowers, yeah. Yeah, so he has some really interesting products that we can also look forward to. For those of you who are into local dried fruits, you can look out for that. And also the flowers, the many flowers that can be created or produced out of various fruits in Dominica. So yes, so we recognize and we appreciate and applaud the work that Kyle James is doing as well. We were also supposed to have had Mr. Coppell, Kent Coppell, join us. Again, he's out in the field with the FAO at this point, but he's unable to join us. But he too was working with one of our beneficiaries, Lindell, I think it was Kyle James. He worked with Kyle, and he expressed his delight in the program as well, and the support that he gave to Kyle was, from what Kyle said to me, was really tremendous. So we do appreciate the efforts of Mr. Coppell, Kent Coppell, that is. He's the specialist at ICA. So we applaud the work that has been done with Mr. James by Mr. Coppell, who was one of our coaches. Okay, so we want to move along, and we have a presentation from Ms. Laura John. Sorry. Okay, all right. So Laura, Miss John, who is the coordinator of the GGGI program, she's out in St. Lucia. She's based in St. Lucia at the OACS Commission, and she is going to be joining us at this moment. Just to give us some more information, she's going to give us some information briefly in terms of what the program entails and what we can expect in the future. So at this time, we would like to welcome Ms. John to share with us briefly. Thanks. Let's make a welcome.
Thank you very much. I would like to adopt the protocol previously established and just say thank you to DEXIA for hosting this event. And it has been very enlightening and encouraging to listen to all of our alumni from the incubator program, mentors, coaches, to speak on their experiences and the positive experiences that they have had. I note that we have not been using video, so I just want to confirm that we maintain the current format, or would you like me to share the presentation? Not sure if there are bandwidth issues before I begin.
Yeah, Ms. John, the presentation is on, but you could also use your video if you wish to.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You've seen the presentation, right?
No, I'm not. Actually, I'm only seeing 4 people. Myself, Naja, Lyndon, and the Carrie newsroom.
Oh.
So I'm not sure. I haven't seen any presentations.
Okay.
It's just been
it's
these.
on our screen here, but so I'm wondering. I guess we're trying to fix that.
Okay. Well, I will just indicate the slides as I'm moving along, so that way there's
Okay.
coordination and it's all synced up.
Okay.
Not a problem. Just minimize this view.
Yeah, perhaps if you just say next slide, then that should help us.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Sure, thanks.
I'll turn on my video. It's not a problem. I was under the impression nobody had their videos on. All right. Everyone can see me? Take that as a yes. Okay. Good afternoon once again, everyone. My name is Laura John. I am the program officer for the Eastern Caribbean Green Entrepreneurship Initiative, which is one of our projects in the GGI Caribbean office. Next slide. I will be giving a brief overview of GGI, as we are what you might say the new kid on the block, so not many people are familiar with us, and just share some of the work that we're doing in the region before I introduce our team and then go into more detail on the Green Entrepreneurship Initiative. Next slide. So about GGGI, or the Global Green Growth Institute. Next slide. We are, well, some of this was already previously mentioned, so I won't focus on it too much, but as a treaty-based international and intergovernmental organization, we have 45 members in developing and emerging, developing countries and emerging economies. And as was mentioned previously, we're really working for governments to assist them in transitioning towards a green economy. And a green economy is one that is low carbon, it is resilient, it is sustainable, environmentally sustainable, it is socially inclusive. And so we do this, if you go to the next slide, please, by serving as an enabler and facilitator to our member countries. So this means that we assist in providing policy advice, technical support in the development of green growth plans, policies, and regulations. A key aspect is facilitating the mobilization of green investments, as well as the implementation of green growth projects like this entrepreneurship program. And then also, we're very keen on the development of local capacity and knowledge sharing. Next slide. In terms of our relationship with the Caribbean, and more specifically the Eastern Caribbean, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS Commission, actually became a member of GGI and was our first regional body to gain membership. And because of this partnership, our staff is embedded at the OECS Commission in St. Lucia. And by extension of this membership, we can work directly with governments of the 11 OECS member states at a national level. So when it comes to the projects that we engage in, it tends to happen on two levels, either at the regional level. So for example, this Greenpreneurs Entrepreneurship Program, we're working with 6 countries: Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But we also have projects that are country specific. So again, 2 tiers of how we work in the region. Next slide, please. So in terms of the areas of focus currently, we look at climate action. So here we're supporting countries in helping them to enhance or expand their ability to fulfill climate mitigation and adaptation goals. So what this might look like, we currently have a project in St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda, and Grenada, where we're helping these countries revise their nationally determined contributions to the Paris Agreement and helping them fast track their progress to this. It also includes the development of green-blue growth index, again, to help capture data around the green-blue economy. Then we have green investments. So again, facilitating the mobilization of climate finance to support climate mitigation and adaptation projects. So GGI has actually supported work in Dominica with the development of a national climate fund, for example, which will attract contributions from international funds and donors that can be then used to fund projects to help meet the country's climate and sustainability goals, for example. We also have a green affordable housing project under this focus area happening in St. Lucia. Then we have renewable energy. So we're actually working with the OECS Commission on the Eastern Caribbean Solar Challenge, the aim of which is to increase the use of solar energy in the OECS member states and to facilitate this by enabling policy and regulatory, creating an enabling environment through policy and regulatory revisions. So we're providing technical advice and we've embedded staff in, for example, St. Lucia's National Utilities Regulatory Commission. And lastly, green industries with a goal towards supporting green job creation. We look at the Eastern Caribbean Green Entrepreneurship Initiative, or what we call the Greenpreneurs, which offers the incubation accelerator programs for entrepreneurs, as well as ecosystem development focused on capacity building of key stakeholders in the ecosystem, like business support organizations. Next slide, please. So the GGI Greenpreneurs team, just a brief slide to show and to have you meet some of those of us working behind the scenes that you may not always get to interact with. Next slide. Many of you may know Kristen Deason, who is our Caribbean representative. And I think most of you would also know Daria Poyat, who is our Admin Finance and Comms Associate. But as you can see, we have a number of other team members working behind the scenes to help support the implementation of this program. Next slide, please. So the Eastern Caribbean Greenpreneurs Program, as I indicated, our objective is to create green jobs by supporting entrepreneurs in building businesses that are climate smart, sustainable, and socially inclusive. Slide, please. So I always include a definition of what a green entrepreneur or a green business is, because we recognize that the concept is somewhat new to the region. And it's important, I think we recognize that there are many people or many entrepreneurs, many businesses that are actually green, but may not have even recognized that. And so just to make sure that we are all on the same page, we define a green business or a green entrepreneur as an entity or individual who is purpose-driven and seeking to address environmental and or social issues through the products and or services they offer while building wealth. And another component to this is that these businesses are also focused on greening their own operations. So not just looking at the products or services that they provide to the general public, but looking at their own internal operations and implementing sustainable waste management practices, for example, or rainwater harvesting towards the responsible use of water. It could also look like working with very specific suppliers who meet their standards in terms of fair trade, or providing, that business with only organic produce, etc. So those are also other aspects or ways in which a business may be green that is not necessarily visible to the customer, to the customers. Next slide, please. The Greenpreneurs program is funded by the Qatar Fund for Development and is a 3-year program. It was launched in 2021 and will be coming to a close in December of 2023. As I mentioned, we're operating in 6 different OECS countries, and we have partnered with business support organizations on the ground, like DEXIA, as well as the national governments, representatives of whom sit on our project steering committee, as well as focal points. And of course, one of our key partners is the OECS Commission. Next slide, please. So the Eastern Caribbean Greenpreneurs program consists of 3 core components. Our incubator program, which focuses on supporting early stage or startup businesses. Our accelerator program focused on more growth stage businesses, and then our entrepreneurship ecosystem. Next slide. The entrepreneurship ecosystem component, as I said, is really focused on building capacity within our ecosystem, as well as establishing frameworks for regional support. So on the capacity building component, we're looking at training for national institutions, which will include business support organizations. We're looking at establishing mentorship and networking platforms. And then, as I said, some sort of framework for regional support, which at this point, we don't know what that will look like and will be based on consultations with key stakeholders and beneficiaries. We're actually just kicking off this component now, so we'll be working on that between now and the end of the year. Next slide, please. The Accelerator program, as I mentioned, consists of supporting our growth stage businesses through investor matching. That's actually a very key component. And we do this by hosting networking and pitch events, or what we call investor roundtables. And this is an opportunity for these growth stage businesses to actually present their businesses to potential investors, financial institutions, etc. We're actually looking forward to hosting our first investor roundtable in September in collaboration with the Caribbean Climate Smart Accelerator. So you'll be hearing more about that as we develop and organize that event further. What that means in terms of the online data room, this is actually a virtual platform created to facilitate this investor matchmaking. And the idea is that we will have businesses populate the data room with information about their businesses, and then give access to those documents to investors. Of course, once these investors have signed NDAs to protect the information for the businesses. And this will give the investors an opportunity to see, if they're interested in supporting or collaborating or financing one of these businesses. The final component is our interest-free loan. And businesses can apply right now, actually, because we recently launched this call for applications. Businesses can actually apply for a loan of up to 50,000 US. I'll give more information on that. If you go to the next slide, please. So recognizing that there is significant variation in terms of maturity of businesses, even within this growth stage category, we've actually created two loan ranges that a business can apply for. And we have tailored the eligibility criteria accordingly. So if you are interested in a loan between 10 to 29,000 US dollars, then the eligibility criteria has been tailored, recognizing that you're probably a smaller, less developed business. So you do have to be for-profit and registered in and with operation in one of our participating OECS member countries. You have to have been in operation for at least 1 year and have a minimum average annual turnover of US $6,000. Now, we recognize that for some businesses, the annual average turnover may be a challenge coming out of, the COVID-19 pandemic. So when you do go through the applications, I do want to stress that we give you the opportunity to provide financial data for 3 years prior to COVID, as well as the years post-COVID. So that way we can see perhaps your performance was, very good pre-COVID, but then you had to shut down and now you're just starting back up. We can at least still judge you based on that. So I do highly recommend and encourage businesses who can at least meet these minimum requirements to apply. One of the key components will be the green focus, which is towards the bottom where it says must contribute KPIs to resilient low carbon development. This is essentially that your business must either be currently or intend to, so future tense, be planning to contribute to
All right, we seem to have had some technical difficulties here, some technical problems. Internet as well as, no? It's not internet? Well, some technical problems and Zoom problems. All right, we have lost our speaker, and so we'll have to just continue with the program. All right, we have on the program, we have some presentations that we want to make to the beneficiaries, the persons who have been successful so far in the program.
Is the presentation still up?
Oh. Yes, it's still on. Are you hearing us, Laura?
Okay.
Are you
So
hearing us?
Sorry, Linda?
No, I was asking whether you're hearing.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, well, go ahead. Just continue, and you could continue. I think we had a little break here, you can go ahead now.
Yes, I was kicked out of the meeting, so I had to rejoin. Is the presentation still up?
Yes, it is, yes.
It is? Okay. All right, great. And we were on the slide for the eligibility criteria, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, great. All right, so the green focus, as you can well expect, is a critical component because we are supporting green businesses. So this is an opportunity for businesses to showcase either actions that they are taking towards, circular economy. So that could be sustainable waste management practices, increased resilience to climate change. So perhaps climate adaptation or mitigation strategies that are being used, GHG mitigation potential. So are you currently or do you intend to implement strategies that may help reduce or eliminate greenhouse gas emissions? And of course, green job creation. So are you providing employment, creating sustainable livelihoods for people in your community and country? Next slide. So the eligibility criteria for the loan amount of $30,000 to $50,000 is pretty similar. The green focus, of course, is standard across the board, but the minimum average annual turnover is higher because the loan amount is more significant. So we're looking at annual average turnover of 30,000 US as a minimum. Again, flexibility in terms of highlighting years pre-COVID where your business may have been more profitable or successful. So again, we encourage folks, even if your revenue for 2022 was not 30,000, please do look at the application because there is flexibility in terms of providing us with data for your best years. And we give you a number of years that you can provide this financial data for. Next slide. And lastly, just to give you an overview of our assessment criteria. So of course, we are looking at paradigm shift potential, your green economic recovery and co-benefits, greenhouse gas mitigation, circular economy components, alignment with national and regional targets, and then financial viability. One of the things I think a lot of businesses fail to capitalize on is recognizing that the work that they're doing, if they are able to align it with the bigger goals of the country, then that actually puts them in a really great position and gives them the ability to actually leverage more opportunities, because they can now position themselves as a key player in helping the country move forward and make progress on some very critical targets. So this is often a component that we've noticed isn't well articulated from past applications. So we do encourage potential applicants to do some research, find out, what the country's goals are, and to see how they can align themselves with those bigger objectives. And of course, financial viability is critical. One of the, objectives of this interest-free loan, so it does need to be paid back. It does not require collateral, but the reason we need it to be paid back is because this funding is actually coming from our Green Innovation Fund through our donor, with the intention to continue supporting other entrepreneurs. So the money that is paid back goes back into this fund that then acts as a revolving door that then allows us to continue our work in supporting more businesses in the region. So we are not a traditional lending institution. We are absorbing a lot of the risks because we recognize that investments need to be made to help our businesses in these early stages really get that capital so that they can solidify where they're at in order to scale and be more successful. And so I just wanted to highlight that component in terms of just understanding the bigger picture of why this particular loan instrument is developed and designed the way that it is. So if you are interested in applying for our interest-free loan and get more information on our CaribbeanGreenpreneurs.com website, through that website, the application will be available as well as the application guidelines. So the deadline is June 8th. So we highly encourage our participants from both, alumni, I should call them, from our first and second cohorts of the incubator program to really take a look at their businesses and see if, they are ready for accessing additional financing, because they are certainly allowed to do so. There's nothing preventing our incubator participants from taking part in this interest-free loan program. And I do want to share that we have actually awarded our first 2 interest-free loans to 2 companies. One is from St. Lucia, Greening the Caribbean. Sorry, next slide. Actually, I don't know if I was saying next slide, but I'm on slide 20 in case we're out of sync. One is from St. Lucia called Greening the Caribbean, founded by Wayne Neal. And this company focuses on providing waste management and recycling services here in St. Lucia. And then Soul Life Inc., which is founded by Ricardo Boatswain and from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And they focus on providing solar PV systems to both commercial and residential buildings. So we're very excited to announce these loan recipients. Next slide. And finally, our our incubator program. Our incubator program was specifically curated to target our early stage businesses, including entrepreneurs, even with just a green business idea, who required capacity building support, which is why we offer a 12-week virtual training where we help them go through modules from, understanding key sustainability principles in the Caribbean to developing their financial models as well as impact models, so that they can really tie in this triple bottom line concept of people, planet, and profit as the foundation for their green business. They also learn how to communicate their vision, so how to pitch, identify their customer base. So it's a very holistic and comprehensive training package, which is also tied to our mentoring and coaching program, where we match participants with a mentor and a coach who serve to really help guide the participants through the modules as well as their own business plans. And I think we've heard from the mentors and coaches about this experience, and it is always highlighted as one of the critical components of the incubator program. Of course, networking among the participants themselves, as well as giving them exposure to other stakeholders outside of their group, is a key component. And then finally, it all kind of culminates with our business plan competition, where they have the opportunity to secure the seed grants of up to 10,000 US, not up to, sorry. It is a grant of 10,000 US. Next slide. I think I can skip this slide because I think we all have a fair idea of the intricacies of the program format. So I will say next slide. Just to give a sense of what the eligibility criteria for accessing this program looked like. Of course, there were requirements around citizenship to ensure that you were from one of the participating member countries in the OECS. There was a minimum age requirement of 18, that the business must operate or be intended to operate in one of the participating OECS countries, and of course, that green focus that I've been speaking about previously. And I'm happy to share, next slide, sorry, further details on what the demographics of the applicants from Dominica look like. So out of a total of 93 applications for the second cohort, you will notice that I have numbers smaller and in gray to the right, and those are our figures from year one, so our first cohort. So we had 87 applications in year one, we have 93 in year two. Out of the 93 applications, we received 19 from Dominica. So you can see that that was an increase from the year before. And out of the 19, 2 successfully completed the incubator training. We actually had a third team that was selected for the training program, the Lindell Paris, who is the founder of Paris Family Farms. However, they did not complete the program, unfortunately. So our 2 participants and graduates, Kyle James, founder of KG Nutrition, and Lana Afanaz, founder of Eclat Nova Luxuries, who was also a winner of the business plan competition, receiving a seed grant of 10,000. So they both did participate in the business plan competition, as you can see. Next slide. Also, just wanted to highlight who our participants were from year one. So we had 3. Naja and Athalie have given remarks today, so I think you're all pretty familiar with them. Next slide. Just to highlight some of our achievements to date, we have successfully trained 35 teams or green businesses, which represents 49 greenpreneurs or green entrepreneurs. We have awarded 2 of our interest-free loans. 77% of our teams were female-led, and this is significant for us because we do have a focus on women as well as youth and people with disabilities. To date, we've awarded the 20 grants of 10,000 US, so that represents 200,000 US in seed grant funding, while we've disbursed 90,000, which represents the grants that have actually got into the bank accounts of our first cohort business plan competition winners. And so now that we've had the graduation, we will be moving forward towards the disbursement of the grants to our second cohort business plan competition winners. So that is in progress. Next slide. And just to summarize the slide, I think in terms of activities, we're very proud of the fact that we've successfully completed the first 2 incubator programs and business plan competition, and we're just getting ready to start the 3rd cohort for the incubator program. And so we will have 1 final business plan competition before the end of the year. And we're also very excited to now be having this call for applications for our second interest-free loan program. So we're hopeful that we will get many applications and that we will be able to disperse funding for that. I also would like to say a big thank you to our business support organization like DEXIA, who have been critical players on the ground in the implementation of these programs. DEXIA, their business development officers, all of their staff have been critical in connecting with entrepreneurs on the ground, with key stakeholders, and really giving our program greater visibility. I'm also very thankful to the mentors and the coaches, as well as the guest speakers who have all shared their knowledge, shared their time, and just, been very committed and passionate to supporting our entrepreneurs throughout the first and second cohort thus far. And we know many of them will also be coming on board for the 3rd round of the incubator program. So their support, your support is invaluable, and certainly we are very grateful for the ways in which everyone has come together in supporting this program to ensure its success, because we certainly could not do it on our own. So on that note, we could go to the final slide, and I'll just say thank you once again for this opportunity to share with you the work that GGI is doing and our current Greenpreneurs program. And I know many are wondering what happens next in terms of post-December. And what I can say is that we are actively working towards a phase 2. We cannot confirm anything at this point in time, but that is definitely our focus in terms of trying to mobilize the financing necessary for us to continue supporting our greenpreneurs in the region towards this greater objective of creating green jobs and a more sustainable and socially inclusive economies in the region. So thank you. And I will end here.
Right, thank you very much, Ms. John. Thank you for your presentation. And we are certainly going to be looking forward to a continuation of this program. We hope that you'll continue to work as hard as possible to ensure that it happens. And we will be making ourselves available to continue the support to our greenpreneurs on the ground, entrepreneurs on the ground, to have more persons benefit in the future. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the program, and we have, as I was saying a little earlier, the presentations that we want to make to our beneficiaries. We went a little step further and sought from our local businesses to provide some support and some encouragement to our entrepreneurs. And they came forward, they came through, they supported us in that. And today we'd like to call on the representative from Best Price to come forward and to make a presentation to Miss Lana Afanaz.
I didn't come prepared to say anything. I'm Casey Henry. I'm the marketing officer for Fine Foods Retail. That's Fresh Market, Best Price, Cash and Carry. We're pleased to position ourselves to support for the simple reason that being stakeholders in our position, the local economy who provides goods such as Miss Lana and everybody else, that's important to us. That we stock up our shelves with not only what we import, but also what we get domestically from our local farmers. So if we can position ourselves to support an initiative like that, we're always happy to do something like that. So I am pleased to present you with our little token of appreciation and congratulate you on your success in the GGGI. Okay.
Yeah, I should have said also that Glam came forward and presented something to Lana, to Miss Afnas as well. So that's in the package as well. So not just Best Price, but also Glam. So you're getting 2 tokens in there, all right? We have another presentation, this time to, it's to Naja Thomas. She joined us earlier, Naja Thomas. And again, it's from Fresh Market, this time Fresh Market and Body Bliss Spa. So since Naja is not here, we'll ask Miss Platsko to come to receive that on behalf of Naja. We can't send it through the Naja, unfortunately, we can't send it through the thing. But then we'll make you have it. We'll let you have it as soon as possible. So
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
not necessarily. You can just. Right. We also have a presentation to Mr. Affley George. He gave us a little presentation. She said thank you. All right. So Naja said thank you. You're welcome, Naja. So Mr. George, as we heard, he from the first cohort, he made his presentation earlier on, and that this token comes from EMS. That is another company that is being operated by Mr. Carl Nassif, I think. So we have the representative from EMS here, and she will present it on behalf of her company and also Do It Center, right? So, Mr. Affley, you're getting 2 tokens in here as well. So do come forward.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon or morning or almost afternoon. Hello, everybody. Like my colleague, I was not prepared for a speech either. But I'll just say something short and sweet. Congratulations. Being here really inspired me. You know, I didn't know so much about, you know, what you guys did and what was going on behind the scenes. But it is very amazing what you guys have, you know, done and all the hard work that you guys have put to making Dominica a little more sustainable, a little more resilient, you know. And we can appreciate that because a lot of the things that we take in can be very harmful for us, you know, the products that we use on our skin. And I used to work with Lana before, so, you know, I used to get little speeches. But, you know, some of the things that we use, even our roll-ons, our soaps, can be very harmful to us. So, you know, the work that you guys are doing it's being seen. It's, you know, we appreciate you guys and congratulations. And we do hope that your business continues to grow. So on behalf of EMS and Do It Center, we just want to say congratulations, good job, and continue the great work.
Yes, thanks again, and thanks, Afali. But we have a final presentation, again from EMS and Do It Center, and that goes to Kyle James. Kyle is not the first today, but he was part of the Cohort 2, as we heard earlier. And we'll ask Mr. Bristol Lawrence, to come and receive on behalf of Kyle James. Let's put our hands together for Kyle. All right, thank you very much again. And this takes us to the end of our event. And again, I'd like to express our thanks to all of you, but we would like to do that, we would want to ask our manager for the commercial department, Mrs. Francis, to move a vote of thanks at this moment. Ms. Francis.
Good afternoon. On behalf of DEXIA and the Global Green Growth Institute, I wish to express heartfelt thanks to the Carter Fund for Development, the OECS, and other partners for implementing a successful free 12-week virtual incubator Greenpreneurs program. This program supported our young people to develop their products in the medium, small, and micro enterprises. Huge congratulations and thanks to the two successful beneficiaries, Ms. Nadia Thomas of Frying Pan Productions from Cohort 1, and Ms. Lana Afenes of Eclat Nova Luxuries from Cohort 2, for your achievement, having each received US $10,000 grant seed funding. To the other beneficiaries, Mr. Afali George of Twin Islet Productions and Kyle James of KJ Nutrition, we also convey our thanks to you for your great work done. Without your participation, we would not be celebrating today. A special thank you to the coaches and mentors for their guidance, patience, and most importantly, the vast wealth of knowledge passed on to the participants of the GGGI Incubator Program. Thank you to the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy, Mrs. Barbara Daly. We are pleased that you are present with us to deliver remarks on behalf of the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica. To Ms. Laura John, GGGI Coordinator, heartfelt thanks to you for providing vital information on the GGGI's program activities and how Dominican people can benefit from it. To the sponsors, Fresh Market, Best Price, EMS Limited, Body Bliss Spa, and The Glam, we say thank you. We are very grateful for your contribution and support to our event and the gifts that you so willingly donated today. To our performer, Mr. Wayne Benji Benjamin, for his rendition, Still Standing, it is very fitting, given that our entrepreneurs are still standing, having faced so many challenges post-Hurricane Maria and the COVID-19 pandemic. To the members of the press and various media houses, thank you for your presence and for sharing this activity with our many listeners, viewers, and readers. To the administrative staff of the GGGI, Ms. Daria Poyot, for your persistence and determination to ensure that persons from Dominica benefited and succeeded in the incubator program, we say a big thank you. This activity could not be possible without the effort of hardworking staff led by our General Manager, Ms. Paula Plasco, with the support from the Export Promotion and Development Department staff and the head, Mr. Lloyd Pascal. Thank you so much. To the members of the Board of Directors of DEXIA, thank you for being here with us today. We trust that all the participants of this very important program will see this as an opportunity for continued enhancement of your product offerings, your management capacity, and more importantly, greater access to markets. Once again, thank you to everyone for coming, and God bless us all.
So it's left to me to tell her thank you, and thanks to everyone again. So we appreciate your presence, and we look forward to another event later down, sometime maybe next year or end of this year, I'm not sure. Okay, thank you so much.